you all are aboard the Bog Roll, owned by your good buddy
Not also, who goes by Nolo.
And what is their deal? What are they about? Tell us about Nah.
He feels his nickname stands for not optimistic of living one full life, Nolo. He was like real cocky in his youth, but he's a little older now and a lot more of a realist about things. And he's a smuggler. He's a good, solid, average plus, C plus smuggler. Definitely has more of an affordable ship, not the fastest ship. Hangs out in places where people who want to do business are kind of looking for more of a bargain.
You're usually that lowest bidder on the list when you're shopping for.
It's probably pretty heavy
carriers.
debt, and comes in low on the bid because he needs to work.
So you guys are aboard the Bog Rollo, the Bog Roll with Olos, and you guys are currently just kind of cruising around. You guys have just come off of helping with you come off a run dropping off some highly illegal contraband. It's a type of alcohol known as Kessel. And even though it was a relatively short trip, it was only about 12 parsecs of a trip.
Can I ask a question?
You can.
Is it a type of rum?
Sure. It is.
Is it Kessel rum?
Maybe. Maybe it is. It is now. So you guys were on a Kessel rum run of about 12 parsecs. And even though it was quick and easy, barely an inconvenience, you guys are still kind of on edge. It seemed almost too easy. So as we're hanging out on the ship, who else is on the ship? Let's go here.
So you see Ledo Vikal. He is a human technician. He's the most okay technician that money can buy. He won't, fix a giant hole in the ship, but if it's still attached, he can sometimes put it back on. He's sort of a greasy, ratty, dorky type guy who thinks he's a lot cooler than he is. Tall and spindly to the point where he gets mistaken as different alien species than human, but is still just plain boring old human.
Very nice, very nice. Who else do we have on the ship?
So you see 6 foot, very furry, brown coated Anthro Squatch. He's a bounty hunter. He goes by the name Scourge because he wants to be as intimidating as possible because he's the most gentlest Anthro Squatch you will meet to this day. He owes the Rebel General a grand favor because back in the day, through some giant war, he saved his bacon. And now he's on this ship doing favors for him.
Nice.
Metaphorical bacon or literal?
Literal bacon.
Very good, very good. And finally, who else do we have?
We have Protocol Bot, DP69. And he is, amongst this sea of averageness and parts and things that haven't been cleaned in years. He's standing stiff as a board, complete sheen of metal, clearly been polished. He wears a leather jacket and a scarf over a bot's body, and he's just standing, and it's expressionless, but his default, his baseline is just a little bit judgmental, his metal eyebrows are just a little bit tucked in. but he's very polite. He's there to help. I would say he's probably there to help Nolo in missions where diplomacy and tact are required, and he's able to provide information about customs and cultures and keep Nolo from tripping over his feet in interpersonal situations.
Nice. Very good. Very good.
Very good.
This is somewhat of a cohesive unit here.
I know, what the fuck?
How it all came together.
This all kind of works.
Until the dice start rolling.
They're telling a different story. So yeah, this seemingly ragtag group of folks that seems to work well together. You're just hanging out after coming off of a run, until finally you get a signal. You get a signal on the main dashboard in the cockpit that you have received a notification of some kind of a message. And shortly after that, on the dash, as it were, there's like a little holographic projector, and up pops up an image. This is the image of Garm Walden. You all know him very well. He is one of the leaders of the Rebel Alliance, and you all have had various dealings with him, and he holds you all as you're highly regarded as allies to the rebels.
Garm, what was the last name?
Garm Walden. So at this point, again, coming off of a run, where do y'all think you would be in the ship? Do you guys kind of would you think that you're hanging out in particular parts of the ship, your own little cubby or your own little corner, or you all just kind of hang out in the cockpit when you're just riding along?
So I think I'm probably going to be doing routine maintenance on DP, so that he doesn't squeak and rattle.
Yeah.
So I can roll for that, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Are we like in hyperspace flying back from where we were, or are we
You
in a system somewhere, or what?
Yeah, you guys probably have just come out of hyperspace. Again, you guys, you completed your run, you got out, and you're just kind of cruising along. You didn't have anything booked. You know what I mean? So you're just kind of out there, just kind of cruising along.
Probably on the bridge in the pilot station.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, so DP69's creator was so focused on his personality and his code that he didn't do a great job making sure that his physical form was optimally designed. So everywhere he goes, and his activity, he's walking around these guys and they're like spilling drinks and like throwing dusty rags, and he's like picking them up and placing them neatly and polishing things, and it's an endless task because they're all just busybodies that don't give a shit. And so I can imagine I'm following these guys around, and our mechanic's following me around, because as I walk I rattle and I squeak, and it's not great.
Yeah.
And Scourge is, that being said, Scourge is in the dock trying his hardest to be as clean as possible, because he hates the mistreatment of bots, and but he's servicing his weapons down there and make sure they don't misfire in the next run.
Nice.
8.
Nice.
So right now I'm a little less squeaky than usual, so I'm able to kind of go about. And it helps me. I like it because then I can, without being a bother to anyone.
He's going around cleaning everything up, and I'm following him with like a can of oil, just dripping it in a trail right behind him.
That's perfect.
Like that.
I can imagine I'm going in a circle, like trying to get this oil off the ground, and it just keeps
The circle is
appearing.
just a little bit less stinky.
Yeah, you're trying to clean a mess while you're leaving a trail behind. Between the three of you, you're just kind of endlessly cleaning up after each other. Yeah, that's great. Nolo, you get this notification. You see who it's from. It doesn't start playing automatically, but You also know there was some form of PA system across the ship, and so when you do have a message or when you do get announcements or something, you have the option to kind of display it everywhere around the ship. But when you get that notification from one of these Rebel Alliance leaders, who you all have worked very well with, what do you do?
I get on the intercom and I say, "Is your captain speaking? Thank you for flying the bog roll. If I could direct your attention to the incoming announcement." And pipe it over the intercom.
Lovely.
Excellent, excellent.
I barely heard you over the clang of the bullet shells hitting the floor.
Darn it. Pause real quick. What was the name again of your character?
Ledo Vical.
Ledo?
Yep.
Is that
Ledo.
Ledo? Ledo, Nolo, Scourge. I said I don't know why I put Surge. That's a different thing. And
DP69.
DP69. Like, gotta say it. We gotta say it for like 4 hours.
I'm just so looking forward to my little panel just being there the whole time.
All the comments just nice.
That's right.
Sick, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, so you go ahead and you see that notification, you make your announcement, and you patch it through. And, throughout the ship, probably in every main room, there probably is some type of little hollow projector, so you all see the same message. It's not necessarily just the audio. But you all see it's this person who you all have worked with before. Despite the the blue flickering light generated image, Garm is wearing dark pants and boots, like a light top under that, like a black vest, and a oblong shaped white helmet. Pops up and he says, "Crew of the Bog Roll, we need your help. One of our spies intercepted a distress signal sent from a secret Legionary research facility on an uncharted moon in the Dathor system. The lead scientist, Ado Thorsch, reported a catastrophic failure during one of the facility's initial tests. She is requesting immediate reinforcements and evacuation. This is an opportunity to strike a major blow at the Legion. But since you all just finished a Kessel run, you should be just a quick hyperspace jump away from the Dathor system. Find out what they're testing, steal or destroy any valuable intel, and get out of there before the Legion shows up to reclaim the facility." Okay, so again, this is it's a message, right? It's a recorded message. He's not actually, it's not interactive. So that's what plays. Of course, you can play it over and over as many times you need to, just to kind of lock down the objective and the location. So with that being said, what would you like to do now?
So I get on the intercom and I say, "Crew, if we could all get together at the holographic game machine meeting area in about 5, that'd be great.
Okay.
Check out the coordinates, where we're headed and everything, and just put it on autopilot so I can step away."
Nice. Very good. Yeah. So you put on autopilot on just kind of impulse power, or you actually hyperspacing out?
Sublight.
Yeah. Got you.
Sublight. We're just chilling in the system.
Cool. Yeah. So you guys are just cruising along. Where you are now, there's nothing you don't know about in this.
I figure that's this guy here. We could go like this little meeting area here.
I see chairs.
Yeah.
Very good.
And a comfy couch. But the upholstery's kind of like split and like worn, like old movie theater. Kinda.
It's peeling like it's made of faux leather.
Yeah, yeah,
You can see the logo for your favorite local screamcore band.
yeah. The Legion's banned like actual leather, so like all the interior stuff's like cheap faux leather.
The Fanta leather, not the Banta.
Yeah.
I think Ledo's visibly excited, and you'll all know it's because he just loves pressing the button for the hyperspace. So he's like
They're like,
barely here to speak. He's just ready to go. He just wants to press the button, kind of like jumping in his seat. His favorite part of the job.
okay. So as you guys are making your way up to, making sure you guys are making your way up to the,
The Scourge is.
Okay.
Yeah, he's heading up there.
trying to make sure I'm not speaking for you. So yeah, as you guys are making your way up to, to the meeting room of the ship, you guys have your own kind of thoughts about what this could be about, and how it could be beneficial, or you should or shouldn't do it. Obviously, dealing with the Legion is an ordeal, right? You guys try to avoid it whenever you can, but of course, working with and at least sympathizing with the rebels, you try to avoid them as much as you can, but you eventually run into the Legion at some point. If you go to any of the regular system worlds, and even a lot of the Outer Rim stuff, where sometimes you'll see Legion people, but not enough for them to really have a presence. But you guys go in and out of regular system worlds pretty regularly, so you see them quite a bit. Obviously, as a smuggler, Nolo, a secret legionary facility, you're pretty certain they'll have some kind of valuable, either information or even equipment that would be interest to any number of crime lords, which would obviously be a great benefit to help paying down some debts or returning some favors. Obviously, as a technician, that Legionary comm towers are replete with all kinds of fancy technology that you would love to get your hands on. As a bounty hunter, you know that the Moon Queen Zala has bounties out for other smugglers and stuff, and you know that they have been. You know that the leader of the Aurelian Sword, they like to hang out in the Dathor system. So maybe win-win. You can catch you a bounty in addition to whatever it is you're doing here. And of course, as a bot, if you were able to access the right terminal in the right facility, you'd probably be able to get your hands on some type of Legion data or information that would be valuable to any number of other people that you guys work with. So you all have your own individual kind of thoughts going through your mind or through your hard drive as you're kind of making your way up to here. It's like, okay, why would we want to do this? We're helping the Alliance, but what are we actually getting ourselves into? But you all have kind of your own personal benefit that you can get out of this. Okay. So you finally get to your common room and discuss.
Got a job on the table. What's everybody think?
Yes, Nolo.
Dibs on the
That's
button.
easy. You keep her flying, I'll let you push the button.
If I could steal me some bounties, I want to go.
Cool. I'm thinking there's money to be made here.
Yeah.
Let's go be bad guys.
It's deep in our pockets.
Wealth means status. Status is good.
I can finally finish my online class payments for these repair classes.
All right, these certificates.
Just
That
tell
would
me
be
how many
most
guns to
beneficial.
bring.
I think you have 4 classes to go.
Yeah, he's keeping track of all your homework.
4 very important classes.
Ledo's absolutely hiding a recent failure.
Uh-oh.
He failed a class and is missing an extra credit. He has not told you.
DP69 found out because it impacts him directly.
Indeed.
But he hasn't said it.
He's trying to play along,
He's,
yeah.
Again, he's ever the diplomat.
Yeah.
DP69.
We're going to try to say it as many times as possible.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Very good, very good.
You have an open counter for that.
Yeah. It's a good call. Bing.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be the DP counter. All right. Airtight. All right. Let's see what we got.
What does my character, the protocol bot, know about the Dathor system?
Yes, great question. You know a few things. You know that the system would be a prime trade hub for because it's in between the inner stars and the border planets. You know, it would be great if it weren't for all of the violent radioactive storms caused by the twin suns. It's a binary star system. The twin suns named Dath and Or, hence Dathor.
Cause what kind of interference?
It's violent. There are violent radioactive storms that make at least the 3 planetary bodies that you know of. It makes those 3 planets uninhabitable. Speaking of, you know that there is a barren, rocky planet named Corteza. You know that there is a gaseous planet named Humo. And there is this kind of other kind of gaseous but very very radiated planet named Enfer. Okay. Also, what you would probably know, it's a known system, but it's just not a lot of people have a reason to go there because of these situations. You also know that the volatile space makes the Dathor system a great spot for pirates and smugglers to lay low. You would also know that over the years, a small coalition of pirates have constructed the Fringe Space Station. That's literally what it's called. It's called the Fringe Space Station, out of defunct freighters. That just kind of, it's like a conglomerate of freighters put together, and they're able to kind of move it around, especially if, if they think the Legion or the Trade Syndicate are coming through. But, again, you also know, being a protocol droid, you also know that they are not fans of the rebellion. So, if you were to run into anyone, you know that information.
Are we known, rebellion accomplices or?
You specifically are not, it's not, it's like, oh, those guys, bunch of rebel scum. You know what I mean? You're not that famous.
Yeah, that tracks.
Right? You're not that famous. No one cares. And B, kind of the whole point, or at least one of the objectives of Rebels and the whole spy and contractor network is you're not supposed to know, right? They don't want people to know. So because of those things, it will not be common knowledge.
Cool.
It will be quite the treacherous journey to the Dathor system.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Got a bad feeling about this. But got a bad feeling about my knees too.
Yes, same.
You gotta talk to him about that.
Right.
He has 4 classes remaining.
All right, so we're all in, right?
We're in.
Let's go
All right.
for it.
So I'll go back to the bridge and lay in a hyperspace course for the Dathor system.
Nice.
And I'll push the button.
Right.
And
I will provide moral support.
You can do it, Ledo.
I intercom him. All right, Ledo, we're ready. Come push the button.
Right. You don't even wait. Yes. So in glorious hyperspace mode, the stars start flying past you guys, and you guys make your way to the Dathor system. Someone roll me a d6.
4.
4 hours later. Oh, that's another thing, real quick. In the board games, I don't roll anything.
Oh, okay.
All you guys roll for stuff. So it's not only are the rolls out in the open.
We literally.
You
choose our
are
own
you
destiny.
yeah you are literally, it is literally in your hands. All right. So 4 hours later, you guys pop out of hyperspace, smack dab in the middle of the Dathor system. Again, commonly known world. You guys have probably been here X number of times. But again, not a good reason to be here. Unless you're, making some kind of deals or some kind of trades with other people who don't want to be found. Okay?
I would have also conveyed kind of all the download that you gave me.
Sure, I figured as such. You didn't have to literally repeat, or it probably would have made more sense if I just gave you something. But that's a different future me. Yeah, be better DM. You guys get to the Dathor system. Again, you pop out right in between the two different the binary stars. As soon as you guys pop in, your computers and your star charts, they start kind of recalibrating, kind of reorienting themselves based on where you are. You get those 3 green blips on your screen, highlighting the 3 planets that you already know about. But then there's another 4th blip with a little red error message, since it's picking up something that wasn't there last time, or that you didn't know was supposed to be there.
Are we in scanning range?
You are in scanning range. At the current distance, it's a tiny blue dot. But you guys are, even at impulse power coming straight out of hyperspace, that blue dot's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, very quickly. That pale blue dot is Earth. No, I'm kidding. Like, what? Is this Battlestar Galactica?
It was Newt.
Eyeball check. Okay. That tiny, that pale blue dot starts getting a little closer. As you start to kind of collect whatever literal surface data that you get from just being able to scan it and being able to visually observe it, you will see a couple of things. On one side of this much smaller, I should clarify, much smaller body, probably the equivalent of some type of a moon, not a full-size planet, a much smaller moon-like body. On kind of the dark side of the moon, there is a giant, gaping crevasse on the dark side, and it looks very fresh. You can still see debris kind of floating around within the crater. You know, like the rock and the dirt within is kind of falling into the crater, almost as if this was very recently created, and the dirt and the ground is still very, still active. You know, there's all kinds of debris, kind of within, kind of orbital distance from that area. The entire planet, though, or the entire moon, as you're getting closer and closer, it's not actually a blue, or at least it's not rocky, or at least it wasn't a rocky, dirty moon. It looks very windswept. You'll see a lot of. It looks like it was destroyed very recently. Trees have been blown down, and rock and dirt has all just been scattered. So it wasn't a lot of destruction. It looks like has recently occurred to this planetary body. As you start coming around to kind of the more of the light side of the body of the moon, you start seeing other structures and actual towers. You see numerous, at very regular intervals, probably a few miles apart, on the surface of the moon. You see these towers, kind of in almost like a grid type of a pattern on the surface, and many of them are destroyed in some kind of disarray. And let's see, how about our technician give us a knowledge roll? First roll, no, second roll again. No, not as exact.
Strongest stat.
4 whole knowledge.
Okay. How about our protocol droid?
Absolutely.
That's not a moon, that's a crevice.
Looking at for knowledge here. 7.
Okay.
All right. We don't know.
So yeah, you are not
Can I tell you what?
sure. Everyone, let's roll. Let's roll. Let's give everyone a chance.
Never mind.
I got a nat 20.
That's 20. Okay. All right, Scourge. You have probably seen this before in your travels and in your adventures on your own, and maybe before joining this crew. You have seen these. These are Legionary shield generating towers. Okay. You have seen these employed before on stationary things like planets and other land-based areas. They'll throw these up to generate shields. It's the number and the frequency that you see them on this planetary body that it's a little concerning. From the number and maybe the way they're oriented, it kind of gives you the idea that they were trying to shield literally the entire moon. And clearly, it didn't work, right? From what? You're not sure. And of course, as you are circling around, making your scans, both with the ship, I don't know if you were able to do any kind of scans on your own, but what you do also run into, or what you start to see, is said Legionary facility that you guys were informed about.
So, as a protocol bot, the whole scanning thing is not really my bag of chips. However, I do have a binocular and laser mic as part of my bobs.
Nice.
So maybe I can get a zoomed in look, see if it's scanned for life or anything like that.
Yeah. Cool. So you're just kind of looking out the window basically, and bloop, cool. Yeah, beautiful. So yeah, you guys see this facility. It's aside from the shield towers, it looks like the only structure still left on this entire moon. With your binos, you zoom in and you're able to see a number of things as you guys kind of start getting closer and closer. Probably maybe not the most obvious thing is you notice that there isn't any other ships in orbit around the body. Okay? What you do see as you're getting closer, as you're making your observations, the facility itself is it seems kind of very like modular. Like there's several different little rooms, different sections, and there are a few different possible points of entry. You see at the northernmost point, parked at what probably looks like some type of an airlock, there is a ship there, parked there. And again, based on your experience, based on y'all's knowledge, it is not a Legion ship. What you also see is one of the modules on the kind of the southwest, the kind of and the largest section of the facility is like a shuttle bay, like a docking bay. And there is like a fluctuating kind of shield barrier, and that looks like you could possibly, fly into. But again, fluctuating, maybe not the most stable. You can also see, looking at the rest of the facility, you can there is a kind of a dome-like structure on the southeast part of the facility that has a lot of damage. There's like an entire section. There's like an entire wall just completely destroyed and open out into I guess space at this point, right? Since it seems a lot of the atmosphere has kind of been stripped away.
How big's the opening on that dome?
The dome. It's on the dome itself. It's probably about 100 feet total. These are like, and they're like large, large kind of buildings that are all kind of, you can tell are all connected through various corridors and stuff. But again, it looks like modular. They dropped in this piece, and then they dropped in this piece, and dropped in this piece, so on and so forth. But on that dome-like structure, the dome structure itself is probably about 100 feet diameter, and like one whole wall of that is just kind of stripped away. The docking bay, again across to the other side, obviously much larger. You can fit, your ship would fit. It would be it'd be the biggest thing in there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
We have that fluctuating shield generator on that side.
Correct.
Any other docking ports like that one ship is using that we see?
No.
We haven't seen the east side yet.
Well, you're kind of seeing like a kind of almost like a top down, like
okay.
You guys are still above. You're seeing the whole thing. Again, there is a ship docked at some type of an airlock at the north side. There are several buildings throughout. There's if you count them up, there are 10 different structures.
My binoculars have a laser microphone capability. Am I picking up any sounds of any kind on the surface of the planet?
From inside the ship?
Yeah. So I think that, and you can tell me if this is way too like
OP?
Yeah. Like I'm envisioning sound waves, this laser that catches sound. It's almost like a can of beans on two ends of a string.
Sure.
Essentially type, but like.
So if you're thinking if you can make contact, it'll send that information.
Interact with a source of sound.
Sure.
Because it's light, it would pass through a window theoretically.
Gotcha.
That would be your discretion.
Cool. Do you have to roll for anything on that, or what is it?
No, it's just one of my bobs. It doesn't have stats or anything. Let me see.
Could you read it for me just real quick?
It says binocular with laser microphone.
Okay. Okay. From the outside of the facility, where do you think you're pointing it at?
I think I'm focused where that ship is, because it's the only obvious sign that anyone would be here.
Sure. Okay. So you're gonna literally laser focus on that ship.
Maybe
Okay.
the structure that the ship is air docked to.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, there's like a small corridor that is like attached to, it's kind of parked sideways. It's kind of latched on to part of the ship. There's like a short hallway or corridor that leads to one of the main buildings. So you're gonna hit that corridor, that airlock. Cool. So yeah, as you laser in on that, what you do hear something. You hear kind of like a occasional like low growl. And occasionally you hear like a scratching sound, like against like some metal, you just. So it gives you the impression that there's some kind of creature in that corridor.
DP69 is going to attempt to emulate and project from his vocal, or his vocal modules, those sounds.
Sure. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. You'd be able to essentially record and replay those exact same.
Can like Scourge go through his bounty hunter notes and try to pinpoint the creature?
Sure.
Type or something?
Yeah, can we see if we
Yeah.
recognize that creature?
Yeah. If you're maybe projecting that or making it audible for everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the bounty hunter could roll for that. Oh, anyone who wants to. I guess go ahead and give me a knowledge roll.
6.
Also 6.
Isn't it a nat 20?
16.
Yes, that is a nat 20.
Let's go.
Are you guys
16 minus 1,
you guys are
15.
actually rolling your d20s, right? Okay,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
make sure.
15.
Yeah.
I always roll board really bad. This is tradition.
That's
Thanks
a
for joining the
21,
club.
but a nat 20.
Nice.
I mean, I rolled a d20 first roll. I don't know.
Yeah. So especially with a nat 20 and even plus a 16, you guys kind of put your heads together. It's like, wait a minute. That sounds like a tergu. A tergu is a large quadruped jungle creature. And it is, and obviously with a nat 20. Fucking what jungle? Like why is this here? You guys know they're fairly large. Like they're again quadruped. Think of like a Komodo dragon, like a 4-foot tall Komodo dragon that has horns.
Sick.
Kind of like that. Not exactly. I would show it to you, but there's other stuff on the page I don't want you to see. But yeah, it's a large creature. They can be obviously very aggressive, but not always, right? They can be gentle. They can be. They're usually only really aggressive when they're hungry.
It tastes kind of like chicken.
I cannot confirm that. I haven't had it myself.
On a nat 20, would I know what they would normally eat? Because horns, herbivore, lizard thing, omnivore maybe. But like, can we feed it a fruit or does it want meat?
Let's say, being the kind of person you are, you've probably seen them at some kind of a zoo, and you've seen them during feeding time. They'll eat pretty much any food things. They'll eat meat. They don't normally go for meat, but again, when they're hungry, they'll be aggressive.
So I'll just let everyone know that they are omnivores but prefer veggies and get aggressive on an empty stomach. And I'll just see if we've got like some stale cereal or something in the cabinet.
Does that include aluminum?
I don't think it does.
Ah.
Awesome. So yeah, you guys learn that there is at least one critter holed up in the facility some way, somehow. What would we like to do now?
No objections. Let's just put her down by that broken dome where we have an access point.
Okay.
And get into the facility.
I know you can do it, Nolo.
Okay.
It's really tricky flying here.
I know you can do it, Nolo.
Thanks for the confidence, Squeaky.
I'm gonna make snack balls. Like,
It is DP69,
ammunition, just in
you know
case.
that.
Yeah, I heard you first time, Squeaky.
I'd like to hear you say it, Nolo.
Maybe one day.
Okay. So as you guys start getting farther, like closer and closer to like the surface of the moon, one of the things that is pretty typical, especially when you're making landing, you'll start to get kind of like environmental readings and stuff like that. And what you'll see is like air and oxygen levels is really low. Like probably not safe to try to breathe out there or try to not to just step out without some kind of suit or mask or something. So as you guys are getting closer to especially the destroyed dome that isn't necessarily meant for docking, that is where you start getting those readings. So what you do with that information?
Well, it looks like we're going to need respirators. We've got the little plastic mask hose thingy, and that's good for everywhere.
Okay. You probably don't
I
need
will
one.
be just fine.
Right. Okay.
Lucky you.
Cool.
So is there like a little ground area near the blown out?
Yeah. Like all this is on kind of like a. God, I thought I got all these goddamn lines. Okay. Yeah, as you know, the land kind of around the facility is pretty flat, pretty level. So yeah, and especially outside of that dome area, it's kind of out on a corner. There is space around there, so you'll have no problem actually getting there.
Do the environmental readings suggest just respirators or pressure suits?
Currently, it's just respirators. It's
Okay.
going to be it's not completely vacuous.
Yeah.
It's just
So
you're just not going to be able to breathe.
Too
Yeah.
low.
my armor is a flight suit. Would you say, does that come with like a respirator or helmet? Or would I need to find something?
Well,
We got them on the ship.
yeah, I was going to say, does Nolo have the foresight to just kind of have those equipped on the ship?
Yeah, it's required safety equipment. If you get boarded by the Legion Space Patrol, they inspect you
Yeah.
to make sure you have respirators, and you have to have a number of rafts in case you make a water landing.
Yeah, depending on
To hold the number of passengers plus crew.
depending on the crew. Yep.
And it's an 8-pack plus 2 crew, so it's a 10-pack ship. So you have to have 2 5-person inflatable rafts on board the ship, along with 10 respirators and environmental suits, or you get cited and fined. And I can't pay fines.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
that OSH, Occupational Health Space Safety.
there you go. There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, shh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, so you guys mask up, and you guys make your way to land at this dome structure. Okay, so you guys make your landing. You set down. What do we do now?
Question. On my character sheet with my malfunction, it says another character, Ledo, can make a knowledge test to fix the malfunction until it triggers again. What are the conditions under which my squeak and rattle might return?
From a mechanical standpoint, probably, probably a certain level of stress and or environmental issues like water and or lots of dirt. So I will say, what you got?
Just a counterpoint. Because it's low oxygen in this area, he's like not likely to have like any rust or anything that will cause creaking, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to react with the oil.
Fair. But I would say, yeah, if you interact with, again, like water or something, if you get into a puddle, rinses some of that grease out, gets a little squeaky, or maybe at a certain amount of tension or stress. And I'll say, how many hit points you got?
7.
I'll say maybe every 2 points of damage, it's something starts to squeak and creak again.
He's so bulky.
Okay. All right. So you guys make your way outside of the oxygen recycler dome. Okay. Even just kind of looking through the window of the ship and looking into the opening here of the structure, you can see that there were lots of plants. Like this was one of those rooms, one of those facilities that had a lot of like oxygen generating plants and stuff like that. So lots of heavy greenery. At least it used to be. All of the plants are dead, either wilted or blasted. But again, just kind of looking in, you can see that that's what this was. This is one of those natural oxygen producing recycling facilities or recycling structures attached to the facility. Okay.
So do we know that this is the place where Waldom wanted us to got the message from? Where we're going?
Yes, because again, they talked about an uncharted moon in the Dathor system.
Okay.
And again, you guys got here. This popped up. I mean, what else could it be? You guys are seeing the facility. The facility, based on, again, the technology and the aesthetic, the facility, very Legion, right? Very dull, gray. It just looks drab and boring. But again, that ship at parked on the north side, definitely not Legion.
So in the oxygen production area, are there any like computers or like log sheets, like cleaning log sheets or whatever that might have like names, ranks, positions filled out?
Following that, any terminals we could possibly hack for like inside blueprints of the facility?
Sure. So is that predicated to you guys leaving the ship and going in?
Yeah, we're gonna disembark and go try to make our way in there.
Yeah.
And Nolo's gonna offer some insight. So guys have been thinking about that other ship. Likely, it's either smugglers, pirates,